Know someone in your life celebrating a birthday? They deserve to feel truly celebrated. That's what 1-800-Flowers has helped people do for 50 years, turning everyday gestures into meaningful moments of connection. And this April, during their 50th birthday celebration event, when you buy one bouquet, get a second bouquet 50% off. Celebrate more birthdays with our 50th birthday event all April long at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. Buy one bouquet, get a second bouquet 50% off at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
Welcome to Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Osdell, and this podcast that you're listening to or watching was just named in the month of April 2023, just named Best Music Podcast in Chicago, in the Chicago Reader's Best of 2022 issue. And in the next 2-3 weeks, I'll have a couple Grammy winners on the show. I'll also have a wildly influential artist who also happens to be one of my top 10 artists of all time. Lots of cool stuff on the way. For now, Car Con Carne is sponsored by Suburban Roofing and Siding. If you're a homeowner in the suburbs or city, you know the elements can take their toll on your home. And if you think you have damage from, let's say, all the hail we've experienced over the past month or two, or just the winter in general, if you think you might have enough damage that warrants calling an insurance company, you need to talk to my guys first, Suburban Roofing and Siding. They're a family-owned company that provides interior and exterior home remodeling services, offering services to the Chicagoland area, city, suburbs. Their staff has more than 40 years of collective experience with roofing, siding, windows, and gutters. They do everything. Call their friendly team and get started today. 224-677-6149, 224-677-6149, or visit them online, suburbanroofingandsiding.com. Car Con Carne is also sponsored by this book right here. It is 90 Days in the 90s, written by Andy Fry. This is a trip back in time, a trip back to the 90s in Chicago. As I'm sitting here recording, I am in Logan Square. I'm directly across the street from the Logan Square Auditorium. This general area was ground zero for all the music that exploded out of Chicago in the 90s. And Darby, the character in 90 Days in the 90s, goes back in time to the 90s in Chicago as she takes in all that music, all that pop culture, all that stuff that was happening in and around the city. Go back in time with Darby, 90 Days in the 90s. Get the book on Amazon or get it signed by ordering directly from Andy's website, 90daysinthe90s.com.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Osdell.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Osdell, and we first heard from Sweet Cobra back in 2004, and they closed last year with what I believe is their finest moment to date, an album called Threes. And just last month, Threes made it to vinyl, and today we find Jason Gagovski in the car to talk about the band. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, that's Jason. And in the backseat, also in the car, is Stephan Jurgovan, General Manager of Big Kids. General Manager?
You got it.
General Manager of Big Kids, 2545 North Kedzie. If you know where the Logan Square Auditorium is, you know where Big Kids is. And Stephan has brought food into the car. We're going to talk about Sweet Cobra. We're going to talk about that album Threes. And we're going to talk about the menu as we consume mass quantities of food from Big Kids. Thank you guys for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure, dude.
We're recording on a Monday night. Is there a better way to start the week than eating food, talking about music and food?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. This is it.
This wonderful view of the Logan Square area.
Monday's party day for us restaurant folks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
I feel like Monday and Tuesday have been some of my roughest nights out. For sure.
Yeah. Some hard living happens after the big rush of the weekend, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What are you drinking there, Stephan?
Just a Mineragua bubbly water. It's like a Topo Chico, but Mineragua is made by Jarritos. If you've ever had
of
Jarritos
course.
sodas.
Cool.
sodas.
I enjoy the lime.
Yeah.
Also, let it be known.
Oh, yeah.
Big Kid serves Shasta in the most adorable 8-ounce cans.
That's right.
Uh-huh. This is blue collar soda drinking happening at Big Kids.
Love it.
None of that fancy name brand soda. We got Shasta.
Hey, I appreciate that. Some
Keep it
people, if
local,
it's not
right?
Coke or Pepsi, they don't know what I'm saying. They say, "What? I don't know. I guess I'll try it."
Oh yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. It's sweeter. It reminds me of childhood, actually. Which I guess
Oh,
that's
that's
the
good.
appeal of big kids.
That's the
isn't it?
goal with big kids, man.
Yeah.
Trigger old to unlock memories.
Yeah.
From the menu to the decor to just the overall vibe. That is it. It's a place to go and just be yourself and let loose.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about the menu. In fact, let's get some food circulating in here.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. So I definitely brought too much food.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Here we have. Woo! This is Space Torpedo for you here, James.
All right, so the Space Torpedo is what?
Space Torpedo is a cold cut sub sandwich. It's pretty classic. It's smoked provolone, turkey, pastrami, garlic mayo, pickled onions, shredded lettuce. That's what we call shredded lettuce.
Smells good.
Smells amazing.
And it's got pasta salad on it. That's like kind of the kicker. So
This is going to be impossible to eat in the car.
it's
You're
you know,
making a mess.
It
For
may be a
sure.
bit of a mess. And here we have for you. This is the Beyond Shitty Burger.
Oh, yeah.
So
Nice.
the Shitty Burger is kind of like a smash burger with shitty sauce, which is basically kind of like a Big Mac sauce, like a special sauce. And there's shredded lettuce, mustard that we make in house, and
Yeah.
that's it. You know, it's a simple burger.
Boom.
Can I get this? There we go.
Got to get the crispy edge.
Oh, yeah.
The
You gotta
smash
get
burger.
I got a
love
couple-
Smash
Very
very important.
I got a couple orders of tots back here as well.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna pop one up here. I got 2 orders though. If you guys want to, here, I'll just pop them both up here. Y'all each
Cool.
have your own tots.
Oh,
Nice.
you're amazing. I never say no to tots.
Yeah. The tots we kind of toss
yeah.
in a spice that we make that sort of tastes like barbecue chips.
Ooh,
We toss a little Parmesan cheeses there as well.
get out. 2 for Tuesday. Here we go.
Cheers.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. I got the Parmesan right away. That's great.
Thanks, man.
So other stuff on the menu.
I brought an order of deviled eggs, which is 3 pieces. I'm gonna eat 1. And then there's 1 for each of you guys.
Deviled eggs.
Yeah, they're there if you want them.
Oh,
if not,
nice.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't drop that.
I would never.
Eating deviled eggs in the car. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like deviled eggs are like the essential party snack of like
They are.
the Midwest,
They
like
really are.
family party.
Yeah, the basement, little basement bar area.
So while we're talking about the food, give me some Big Kids history.
So
Open when?
Big Kids opened in October 2020. Those of us who opened the restaurant spent some years working in like fine dining and kind of like Michelin restaurants and stuff like that. And although we found a lot of merit and things like that working in restaurants like that, we just kind of wanted to do something more simple, approachable, kind of less pretentious. So we always have had doing something like this in the back of our heads, and then the pandemic happened and the restaurants we worked at ceased to exist. So one thing led to another, and we were offered this space here at
What a
Right.
great location. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
great location. So like I think I was telling y'all earlier, October 2020 was not the premier time to open a restaurant, but the location we were offered was very enticing, and we kind of said, let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah, it's good long-term play. You knew it.
It's been a wacky couple of years, but we're still here. So
This Space Torpedo is delicious. And let the record show, I spilled on my very first bite.
it's supposed to be messy. It's supposed to make you feel bad. Big Kid's supposed to make you feel bad. Don't forget it.
Good at first, then bad later. It's like,
I'm going to
I
leave
got
Big Kid's
dirty.
a fat kid. I want to be absolutely clear about that. That's something that's happening tonight. Oh, try the smash burger.
Oh, yeah.
I love the way that's cooked. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So for the Beyond Shitty Burger, we use Beyond patties. So we use the common thing that's out there as far as veggie burgers.
Love it. Not my
Kinda cook it on
first
the-
one.
Cook it on
for
the
sure.
griddle and smash it really nicely, and kind of try to get those crispy edges.
All right. Does Big Kids have napkins?
Oh yeah. Here you go. No, sorry,
We're
man.
eco-friendly. We have no
Your
napkins.
laps.
So much for sustainability. All right. All right, let's talk a little bit
towels
more. You guys love corn dogs. You do all kinds of things with corn dogs.
Yeah, we got like a corn dog nug. This originated at our Timeout location. We have a second location in Fulton Market at Timeout Market, the food hall. And yeah, it's just like fried corn dog nuggets, and then everything else about them is just Chicago hot dog. Just
So the
put all
relish and the pepper and all that.
Exactly. All the stuff from Chicago hot dog, but on corn dog nugs.
What's the Grasshopper Club?
So the Grasshopper Club's a sandwich we did. We partnered with. There's a new dispensary right down the street. Dispensary. In case you don't know big words about weed, that means weed seller legal. Yeah. And we partnered with them, and they were like, "What if you did a?"
I like how he's talking to us like we're stoners. Like we don't know basic.
I don't know who might listen to this, so I just want to make sure they know. Dispensary means buy weed legal.
I like that.
But yeah, no, they're our new neighbors, and we've partnered with them. They did an event at Big Kids on 420, and we kind of just kicked the ball around about what a sandwich we can do collaboratively. And their name is Grasshopper Club, so that was kind of an easy one to land on. So yeah, we just did like a club sandwich in partnership with them.
And what do you do with your Philly cheese?
So our Philly cheese is basically like, I describe it to people like a Philly dressed up like an Italian beef. Mm-hmm. So it's basically like like a chopped cheese or a Philly, but the onions are cooked slow and low in a jus that is similar to what you would dip your Italian beef in.
Nice.
And then apart from that, it's on garlic bread. Ooh. It's got giardiniera, mild giardiniera, because I don't know, I feel like regular giardiniera doesn't agree with a lot of us. And then
makes my nose run instantly.
Yeah. The mild giardiniera is nice, but yeah, it's like griddled beef with like jus onions that are similar to an Italian beef jus, with garlic bread, garlic mayo, some melty cheese, and some mild giardiniera.
This is pure comfort. It's stoner food, but it's also pure comfort food.
Yeah.
At Big Kids. I mean, this sandwich
great,
here is
so good.
The definition of comfort food. There's a pasta salad in the sandwich.
Yeah, just jam it all into onto the same vessel and eat it up.
And Big Kids takes cocktails seriously. You do cocktails by the pitcher.
We do cocktails by the pitcher. Yeah. I'm a bartender by trade, so in Big Kids Inception, that was more my role.
I feel like the first few times I came in was to try the cocktails. Before
Nice.
I knew about like the vegetarian options and stuff like that.
That's
like
cool.
Negroni by the pitcher.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I definitely want people to identify with us as a cocktail bar. When we first opened, we were to-go only. It was in like the heat of the pandemic, and we were very concerned about making sure everything was safe for our staff, so nobody could come inside. But then eventually we added a patio. Eventually we opened up inside. But yeah, I definitely, I hope people think of us as a cocktail bar.
Negronis, Palomas, sherry and tonic.
Oh yeah,
it all sounds delightful. Like
Classics.
you're gonna kill it this summer.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That says summer to me. Pictures of any of those things.
People are just waiting to get back into it, right?
People have been going hard this year too, guys. Like honestly, January and February in the Chicago restaurant scene is usually very dismal, and it's been extra dismal the past 2 years because of COVID resurgences and Omicron, and all that stuff. But man, like, not to say that I know COVID affected some people badly, this past winter, but there was no major resurgences like there had been in the previous couple of years. So I feel like people have
and also
just
the weather cooperated too.
The weather, it was like
everything kind of played
50
along.
degrees randomly in January, February.
So people wanted to leave the house.
Yeah.
People have been out. Like people have been getting after it. And
Nice.
as far as I can tell, that's good.
For sure.
This sandwich is great, dude.
Thank you, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
it.
amazing.
I'm gonna save the other half for later because I can only spill so much on camera.
Right.
And I do have, I have one last thing in here.
Oh, no.
It's the Amy and Nettie sandwich made vegetarian. So if you all would like to try it now, I could send it up, or you can all just split it up and take it home and eat it later.
Well, tell us what it is.
So it's I'm just gonna pop it up here.
This is amazing.
Do what you will. It's kind of like we call it like a chicken parm on acid.
Oh, wow.
This is the vegetarian version, so it's made with plant-based fried chicken. It's got a burnt tomato chimichurri that essentially has like all the regular chimichurri stuff.
Oh, that looks good.
With way too much garlic as well as burnt tomatoes. It's got like a paprika mayo. It's
I'm
made
going to
with
give this to you because you are a vegetarian.
Right on.
And you can, bring this home.
Sweet.
Always like to feed artists.
There's a half here. It's up to you, man.
No, I want you to be happy.
All right, it'll go.
Your happiness is my enjoyment.
Thank
All
you.
the things mentioned, plus a little arugula. That's the Amy and Nettie.
That's a superfood, basically, isn't it?
I think so.
Wow.
It's got to be good for you.
2545 North Kedzie is where you can find Big Kids, right in Logan Square. You can't miss this place. It's right on the corner. Belly up to the counter, or maybe grab a table if you can. What a cool place. And the food's delicious.
Thank you. I appreciate that, James.
Absolutely.
This has brought great joy to the front seat of this car.
Oh, yes, it has.
In fact, as,
Glad to hear.
Oh, yeah.
as I have another tot, let's talk a little bit about Sweet Cobra.
Yeah.
And Stephan, you're aware of Sweet Cobra, right? I mean, how can
I
you
am.
not be, right?
Yeah. Undoubtedly, I'm a Chicagoan who has an interest in heavy music and has played in bands over the years, so undoubtedly familiar with Sweet Cobra.
Yeah, we were connecting some dots in there about bands and music and stuff.
Was it a lot of, do you know this guy? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's reason number 9 million why you should never be a dick in the music scene. Everyone knows each other.
Well, it's also like what I think is really special about Chicago, especially when I talk to friends that have moved away, that still come back, or that are in active bands that are from here. They're like, man, it's cool here, but I don't want to name cities or names, but a lot of times they come back with this. It's not quite the same. The community of like different sounding bands, connecting dots, overlaying each other, overlapping, playing shows together. So that's what I've always loved about.
That's what I've always
the
loved.
scene here, for sure.
And
it's not necessarily about a sound. There's a definitely dynamic range to bands.
As a music fan, when I go to a show, if there are 4 bands on the bill, I don't want them all to sound the same.
Yeah,
For sure.
Right.
I think a good example of that is we were talking earlier of how I had seen Sweet Cobra at Ian's party. And Ian's party was a little festival that's happened in various facets over the years in Chicago, but you never know what you're going to get when you go to Ian's party. You might get like a post-punk band, you might get a 3-chord pop-punk band, you might get hip-hop, you might get like doom, but it all somehow seems to mesh like when it's all adjacent to one another in the same room.
Yeah, don't burn me out on the sound of the headliner before the headliner gets on stage.
Right.
Yep.
Right. But some folks don't like it that way. Some people want to have a certain thing but that's what I feel like. I've always felt like that's what's cool about Chicago. I don't know, from touring around also, maybe more so with some of my other bands. I just remember when one of my bands, Suicide Note, we'd go out and we'd play shows on the East Coast, and I would notice like, all right, there's 3 bands playing. We're like the odd band out a little bit here, but that's cool, whatever people are into. But I just feel like that's a Chicago thing, and maybe other cities can say that too. But I think the 3 of us know that's
that's always been the appeal.
pretty uniquely a thing here.
So I mentioned 20 years as a band, and Stephan, mentioned you as a heavy band. But what I think is interesting, or one of the interesting things about Sweet Cobra, is you've allowed yourself to evolve. You've allowed yourself to not just be a heavy band. And I think we hear that on 3s for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started doing that a little bit on our 3rd record, Mercy, although that is still a pretty heavy album. But the first 2 records, the inception and the idea of the band was that we were all in other bands, and we were like, okay, like let's be in a band that's fun, like let's not think too much about this, or try to have it be this super creative thing. Let's just make music we grew up listening to, skateboarding to. So with Praise and a little bit on Forever, it was like our fun band, an outlet for that kind of thing. And then as time kind of went on, we thought, oh, well, it would be cool if we started doing this or introducing these elements and all that was happening naturally. It was like we just enjoyed being around each other. We enjoyed playing music together. So, and we all grew up listening to so many different things that inevitably it started to creep its way in. So on Mercy, I feel like we started expanding a little bit,
A lot of time passed in between Earth and 3s, like 7 years.
Yeah. So
did life just get in the way?
A little bit, but when I look back at it, it's kind of weird because we were doing touring. We were, we did some touring with Mutoid Man, with the Life and Times. I was doing some touring with Cloakroom, who are good friends of ours, and we share some members.
Love me some Cloakroom.
Yeah. And like those guys are from Northwest Indiana, where I grew up, and so, I was doing drumming for them for a while. Our singer bass player is doing drumming for them now, and I grew up with their original drummer. But so there was some of that happening, but really, Sweet Cobra was remaining active. We were doing stuff regionally. We did a split with Young Widows, split with Mile Marker. We were writing and recording. We did a Songs Ohio cover also during that time. So the pandemic obviously added about 3 years to that, 2 years to that with the pressing
2
plant
years
thing.
and 20 pounds for all of us.
Yeah. So it was kind of like in late February, I started sending the final mixes of threes around to people. And then just a few weeks later, things changed. So during the pandemic, there was a period where I was like, I didn't feel like it was right to put it out. And then at a certain point, I realized everybody's just kind of, on lockdown or spending more time at home. Like, this is a great time
Craving
to put it
content.
out. Yeah. And then it was like, well, the pressing plant was like, well, it's going to be 13 months to do this. And I was, wow. Like, I didn't realize that was happening.
Yeah.
Because my label does things here and there, but we kind of function more of like, it's an artist-run label. It's like if something...
You're talking about Hawthorne Street.
Yeah. So, Hawthorne Street Records, we started that late 90s, early 2000s, and it's if something comes up that we can work on a band with the project, like we've worked with Meatwave, Pelican to reissue some things, but also smaller bands, older hardcore bands. So it doesn't run like a bigger label in that regard. So once I actually looked into getting it out, I realized that it was going to be a long road. So that added a few years to the mix. But we remained active all during that time period, really.
And the album is officially out on vinyl, which I find very exciting.
Yeah, we do too. Believe me.
Well, I'm sure. You turned the first two songs on the album into videos, starting with Coats. First of all, what hooks you in with Coats? It's that percussion.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah, so that song is actually a little bit of an older song. And we were at practice one day and I started playing that beat and Remus started playing the bass line and I was like, whoa, this sounds like Carp or like early Nirvana or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even the Misfits a little bit. I'm like, can we do this? Like, is this a new, or is this already a song or something? Like, because it feels familiar.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
And then Grumpy just came in with this out of left field kind of texture. He's like, has such a unique ear for playing over, Remus and I are like this bulldozer in that song, and Grumpy just is sprinkling really cool melodies over it, I think.
What a great opening shot for the album.
Cool, thank you.
Honestly.
Yeah, that one's been around for a little while, and actually an early version of that song appeared on a pretty limited split with a Mile Marker, a split 7-inch. But it seemed like a song that needed a proper moment in the sun, so we had Katie Capuzzo work on that video, also pre-pandemic, with her pregnant friend as the woman dancing in the video, whose kid is now like 3 or 4 years old or something.
Was that shot near the Des Plaines River? Where did you shoot that?
I'm not sure, actually. She's going to kill me for not remembering, but I wasn't on location that day. The two of them did that. But yeah, locally for sure.
Trying to identify it based on graffiti and whatever else is there.
I know, like the video for Repo we did at in Rogers Park, like on one of the beaches there, but that I wasn't present for, that filming.
Well, Wet Brain also has a video. It's a performance video / low-key psychedelic treatment.
Yeah. So Bobby Marcos, who he does Documavision, he plays in Cloakroom, plays bass, played in a band called Native.
I hope people are getting a sense of the cross-pollination that occurs in the Chicago music scene, just based on your explanations.
Yeah, so we're, he's one of my best friends, and also he makes these great videos, and so we went to him for the Documavision treatment, but he just filmed us in our rehearsal area where we always practice. Ran through the song a few times and kind of walked around, where we hang out and where we practice, and did his thing with some of the lyrics and stuff, and we were really happy with how it turned out.
I realize you're not Remus, but the lyrics, I want to blow off the dust from the needle. I'm hoping it's about records.
Yeah, you might have to ask him about about that one. If you read the rest of it, it sounds like a revenge kind of.
You're always out for blood.
Yeah, it sounds like a revenge set of lyrics. So, originally, some of the lyrics on this album, he kind of was like, let's not publish the lyrics on the first pressing of the vinyl. But as we've been putting videos out, we have been publishing the lyrics. So we usually do. But I think some of them were, they're these personal themes, but they're anonymous enough that they can be applied, I think, in a lot of different ways,
right.
Which is what I love about his actual lyric writing,
And I'm a sucker for lyrics. If I'm going to be singing along awkwardly in the car, I want to get it right.
Yeah. Well, in that video, they're like spelled out like a twisted karaoke video or something.
For sure.
A psychedelic karaoke video.
So again, the album is threes. The songs were conceived before the pandemic, which at this point, as you establish, is a long time ago at this point.
Yeah.
Has songwriting or have there been discussions with the band since then? Have things evolved since?
Yeah, for sure. So we've, during the pandemic, we were getting together in a large warehouse space with fans and writing and recording. And, Remus and Grumpy actually had a warehouse space just north of the city where we were rehearsing out of, and it was distanced, felt safe to be in there. And so...
You probably needed to be in there.
Yeah, and it's not far from where all of us live. So we were able to be in there. We kind of had a bubble going, and so we have written 3 or so songs since that album. But the thing about threes that's interesting is that we really we started writing that pretty much right after Earth came out, and we were recording with Al and Eric from the Life and Times at their space in Des Plaines, and we were doing demos, and then we were going down to Earth Analog to hang out with Matt Talbot. And just recording without pressure, just no agenda, just let's go down and jam. And we each had a few riffs and things, and we started just rehearsing the song throughout the day, and then recording what we had at the end of the day. And so even though the recording process was this long period of time, we really didn't go back too much and mess with what we had tracked. So a song like Wet Brain, that's actually probably the third time we ever played the song as a group on that recording, and that's actually ended up being the demo session from Electronical. And so that was just so there is a spontaneity, and it's not that it was improvisational, it was everyone showed up with ideas, and then we built the songs, did the songwriting process together, then would document it at the end of the day. And so at a certain point, we realized we had enough material for an album and sent it all off to Kurt Ballou, who plays in Converge, sent it to him to mix. And I've been recording and working with him since the late 90s and my older bands. So it's we're always working on stuff, and it's if someone has an inspiration or a part, we usually will dig into it and try to figure something out. And then other times it's oh, Grumpy has a song and he showed up with it. Let's chisel it out, slow it down, speed it up, and add this part. But we don't really labor too much over that. We try to let it come to us in this weird way,
Every time you say Grumpy and Remus, it sounds like the worst kids show I've ever seen.
Right. Yeah, well, it is Remus's real last name, and Grumpy's it's just, I didn't know his real name actually for the first 6 months of knowing him. But everyone just calls him Grumpy because he's always the happy dude, I guess.
So again,
but Robert Lanham is his real name.
The new album is threes. It's available on vinyl. If people want to get a copy of this, what should they do?
They can go to the Hawthorne Street Records website, or come to a show. We'll be doing a vinyl release party in Chicago, but we've been booking some shows out of town so far this year. But the best place would be to just get it, I think, at the Hawthorne Street Records page.
Having been in this music scene for 20 years,
yeah,
is it easier or harder now to find your way as an independent artist? Things are so different, radically different from where they were when you started as a band.
Yeah.
Started in this band.
Yeah. Well, because we end up working so much with friends and people that we already have relationships with. In some ways, that part of it, the part that we regularly interact with, feels the same to me. Where like Brent from Magic Bullet helped with the digital distribution. You know, I worked with him. We worked together on Earth, and then he's released things from my old band, Suicide Note. So in that regard, it feels the same. But when I look at the trajectory of the way people like take in music, it is totally different. But you know, we always kind of try to like keep it at a certain level where we like working with people that we trust and that we know we can get on the phone, and we usually have a friendship in place with most people we work with. And that comes even with bands that invite us to play, like if, you know, Russian Circles or Pelican or some of these bigger Chicago bands, you know, it's been so cool that they've had us out multiple times. And again, these are people we know we can trust. They've taken our bands all around the world, and so we do kind of keep it in our little community of friends, it feels like, at this point.
Stephan, what do you think? What's your overall impression of being in and around the Chicago music scene?
I think Chicago's a great place to play music. I think touching on what you said earlier about is it like easier or harder today? I think there's like a duality to it where it's like it's way easier to promote your band because of the internet, but also the pool is overflowing with like people who play certain types of music now. So it's almost like I feel like a lot of old heads will be like, back in my day we had to post flyers on the tree stump on the corner,
the grocery store.
But nowadays you can promote your stuff on the internet, but there's way more people who are playing genres that used to be more scarce. So there is like a duality to it. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think Chicago's a great place to play music. I think there's a great community here, and I think that no matter what you like or what you play, it exists somehow somewhere here. And if you find it, you'll find it.
Absolutely. It's funny what you're talking about, that mass availability of everything. That's something that affects music, it affects podcasters, it affects restaurant owners. It's hard to kind of tunnel your way through it all.
I do have people tell me sometimes, like, I didn't know you guys were playing. Like, that happens even if we have a show at Empty Bottle or a known venue. They might not hear about it for whatever reason.
Right.
So that does happen.
It's so easy to get info out there now that it's just lost in like a cesspool of like information. You know, because
the way algorithms work, you'll see a post like 2 days later, like, fuck, I missed it.
Yeah, that's happened. Yeah. So I mean, for me as a huge music fan, I will, you know, I also go to tons of shows. So I'm always looking at.
That's also a great thing about the Chicago music scene. Right. When you go to local shows and you see other musicians just supporting music. Yeah, definitely. That always makes me happy.
Yeah, that is a great thing. Like, I spent a little time in Nashville because my partner was working on, you know, going to Vanderbilt there, and I did notice the, you know, spending enough time there. Like, I really enjoyed living there, but it was interesting to see a band play in Chicago versus a band play there, and how different the scene was, and how it was like not taken for granted. But my experience was that sometimes there was a band here that might sell out the Metro, might have 100-something people show up to a show there. So it was interesting to dig into a place a little bit and see what their world was like, and then come back here and be like, yeah, you're at the Metro and you're seeing XYZ band play, and there's a bunch of people and all these other bands you love in the crowd, like, getting into it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a wild time.
Yeah.
We mentioned Hawthorne Street, the label you run. The reascent of vinyl has been fascinating and exciting to watch, but now it feels like it's overcrowded to the point of difficult to navigate as a business owner.
Yeah, really, like the lead time thing can be a problem, you know, and bands can get frustrated, and so, you know, we've had to navigate that, and just like waiting to put things out much longer, obviously, with our record and other projects that we worked on. But, you know, we've existed through a period where, you know what, I think when we first started the label, we were doing like 7 inches, then we were doing CDs, then maybe around 2008 and 9 we started really trying to do at least a run of a few 500, few thousand of certain bands stuff, and that would be like a 2-month turnaround, which I remember at the time being like, we gotta wait 8 weeks for this.
Outrageous.
Now, like, I would pay like 3 times the price to get something in 8 weeks. But yeah, so So it is a challenge just to like line everything up, because the idea is that, you know, everything comes out at the same time. And I started noticing like even bigger artists like letting go of that idea. Like, we're going to put it out digitally on all platforms, and then the vinyl will follow a few months later. So we did that with this, and we just accepted whatever consequences there
there's almost like a serendipitous benefit to that, in that you get two different shots in the arm for the release, two different reasons to celebrate and market it.
Yeah, that's kind of what we felt like, because we also felt like, you know, you spend so much time working on a record, just musically, recording it, doing the artwork, doing all this stuff, and when you do just like a typical release, it's this really short period, and then it's like done being promoted, whereas there might be something that you discover, you know, years after it was released. So I don't know, it felt okay to wait a few months, put the vinyl out, do a video, do some shows, and sort of like have a little second way to promote the album, you know.
Stephan, are you a record collector?
I have records. I would say that I have friends who are record collectors that are far more intense than I. I have a couple hundred records. None of them are like enticing original pressings or anything like that.
And it doesn't matter. There are two schools of thought. Like, I buy records because I love listening to music. I like the experiential aspect of listening to records. I don't care whether this was pressed in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or in Chicago. I
exactly. I love the physical format. I have records. I have a lot of cassettes as well. And yeah, I just love the physical format. So yes and no. Some record collectors, if I said I was a record collector, they'd be like, "No, you're not."
If you only have hundreds of records, I don't know if you're a record collector.
But yes, I love the physical format.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe you feel the same way, Jason. And for me, the experiential aspect of when I drop that needle, I'm listening to that artist's vision for 15 to 20 minutes, uninterrupted. I'm not re-cueing it to skip past the songs I'm unsure of. I'm experiencing that entire vision from start to finish, and I'm in it. And when I'm in the car, when I leave here tonight, when I leave Big Kids and pack it all up, I'll probably zap a playlist to my Bluetooth, and as I'm driving, I'll probably arrow through a bunch of songs. I won't let them finish.
Right.
It's just a different, immersive thing.
100%.
Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday, because I went, you know, Record Store Day was Saturday, but yesterday I couldn't make it out. So yesterday I went to Reckless. They basically had everything that I wanted.
That's the secret they don't tell you, is you don't need to camp out on Record Store Day.
Yeah, I mean, there were some things I didn't get. There was a Frank Black LP that I really wanted, but I got most of what I wanted, and then some. But I got home, and I think there's this unintended thing with today's world where you're like, okay, I'm just going to listen to this. I'm going to put my phone down. I'm going to like be here, part of this. Whereas originally it was just the way the music was being released. I feel like, and it sort of had that built-in thing where, you know, you're sitting down, you're checking out the artwork, and you're just paying attention to it. So yeah, there are times where I'll be like, all right, I'm going to leave my phone in the other room. I'm going to sit down and listen to all the stuff that I bought today. And
is there anything better? That's a great afternoon.
No, that's hard. There. Yeah, that's hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's lost to some element for sure.
I feel like things are going my way when I'm able to do that on an afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also thinking about like how there's some older bands, like a band like Duster, that I was thinking about, where I was like, this is a band I remember hearing about, you know, 15 plus years ago, then started hearing it on friends that were playing it, and I realized like they were playing it digitally, and I looked into the band and was like, oh, like I totally remember this stuff, but never owned any of it because it was hard to find. It's since been reissued on Numero Group, and it's like I love the band, and it was really cool because in that way they were able to just release all this stuff and have it be totally accessible. So there's that side of digital that I do think is cool, just that anyone can have access to it. But as like a vinyl collector, you know, then I went out and bought everything on vinyl, of course.
One of the proudest things I can tell you as a parent is I have a turntable. My 21-year-old son has a turntable.
Oh, cool.
And my 17-year-old daughter has a turntable.
Awesome.
There you go.
3 turntable house.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's like they're immersing themselves in the music. It's not just something you're doing in passing, like tapping on your phone. Like it's like you bought a record, you're watching it.
And their taste couldn't be more wildly different. Like my daughter just plays Fleetwood Mac Rumors over and over. That's all I hear coming from her room.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's the gate. That's the,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure. I'm taking her to Stevie Nicks of the United Center. That's
Hell yeah, dude.
Cool. Cool.
Rips.
But then, I walk by my son's room, and he's playing the latest from Rotting Christ.
Okay.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Nice.
Yeah.
My like go-to memory with like owning physical music was I had a friend who lived a couple doors down, and he had the album Astro Creep 2000 by White Zombie, and he said,
Which I swear got better with age. I'm telling you right now.
I love this
Yeah.
album, and I mean that album was everywhere in the 90s.
Yes.
But he was like, my parents won't let me keep this. They said this band worships the devil. Do you want it? And I was like, of course I want it. And it had the most insane booklet. Like every song had its own drawing, with all its own lyrics. And I would listen to it front to back, and I would fold this thing out. And when you folded it all the way out, it was huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's to me like that's like my mental reference for like being like enthralled with music on like a physical format. And that's
Do you still have that record?
probably somewhere maybe.
Because my guess is that's worth some coin.
It was
Yeah.
a CD. It was a CD. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I should say
Yeah.
it was a CD. It wasn't. I was in elementary school at the time.
Nice.
And, it was in like the era of like I had yet to rediscover vinyl as a format, but even still as a CD, the booklet folded out massively, and it just had its own art for every song. It was very.
I remember CD booklets being like these huge. Each lyric page was its own, like you're saying, piece of art, like the Soundgarden CD or a Sunny Day Real Estate CD, just being like a thick, or Radiohead or something,
For sure.
Even like punk and hardcore stuff, like was all about the lyric sheet,
For sure.
I love it. All right, guys, this has been the best possible way to start the week. I swear, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
We're outside Big Kids. I can't recommend it any more strongly. It's comfort food. It's food that'll make you smile. It's food that'll make you full. It's delicious. We just had amazing sandwiches and tots. Washed it down with Shasta, although we could just as easily pack things up, go inside, and split a pitcher of Negroni.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Doing it?
Which would be that's a Fago noise.
That's my Tuesday thing.
Nice. I'm glad somebody caught it.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
You're mixing your cheap sodas here.
Right, yeah, they got scrambled.
Yeah.
They got scrambled up.
Do you want me to edit this in post? Do you want?
No, I like ICP.
Keep it natural. Keep it natural.
Because the answer is I don't want to edit anything in post. So.
Yeah.
Sweet Cobra, the new album is threes. I think it's your best yet, and that's saying
Thanks.
something.
That means a lot. Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
It's on vinyl. Get it on vinyl. Stream it first, and then realize, oh shit, I need to own this, have this, hold this, and put the phone down and go in the other room and listen to it.
Thank you.
As we do. Guys, thank you. This was awesome.
Cheers. Thank you, Jim.
Cheers. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
It's been great to be here.